This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with breaking news about an alleged attempted murder on a cruise ship in Tasmanian waters. Police say a man attempted to throw his partner overboard as it sailed towards Hobart. Our reporter Michelle Wisby joins us from the Hobart docks. Michelle, good evening. Can you take us through the latest developments?
Well, Joe, a 46-year-old Queensland man has been charged with attempted murder after he allegedly tried to throw his partner overboard the cruise ship behind me. The incident happened around 3:30 a.m. yesterday while the Radiance of the Sea cruise was underway. Police were called to the scene here at the Hobart dock, and following an investigation, the man was charged with attempted murder, destroying property and breaching a national family violence order. Just in the last hour, the man has faced the Hobart's Magistrate Court, where he pleaded not guilty to the charge of attempted murder. He will be remanded in custody until he's due to face the Supreme Court in February. And Joe, the cruise is set to leave Hobart this evening.
OK, Michelle, thank you very much. Michelle Wisby joining us there from the docks. A Hobart home has been completely destroyed this afternoon after an allegedly deliberately lit fire engulfed the property. A youth has been taken into police custody to assist with investigations.
These are the smouldering remains of a home at Gilston Bay. The house was completely destroyed this afternoon after police allege it was deliberately lit on fire. Witnesses shocked by the ferocity of the blaze.
When I got here, there was sheets of flame rising up.
The front left room was on fire, coming out of the windows, and the windows started cracking. And then there was just a big bang, and the whole house went up.
Crews were called to the Sovereign Court property around 1:30 p.m, arriving to find flames pouring from a smashed front window. Several trucks working to get the fire under control.
The fire service have attended, found the house with the windows smashed out from the fire, and the fire in full hold on the house.
Police say the house was rented to a government agency, with initial investigations suggesting the fire started in the lounge room. Crews remaining on the scene for several hours.
It would be a total loss by the look of it. You'd be expecting hundreds of thousands of dollars for a full replacement of the house.
A youth was taken into custody as police continue their investigations. Michelle Wisby, Southern Cross News.
Staff from the local branch of the Weather Bureau have rallied against a proposal to centralise forecasting interstate, a move they say could lead to less accurate forecasts. The Bureau of Meteorology says it's yet to decide on the plan, but it's about improving service delivery.
Weather Bureau staff and their supporters rallying at Franklin Square this afternoon, demonstrating their opposition to a centralisation plan that first emerged in August.
I've got to say that our local forecasters were heartened by the support that they've gotten from the community. One of them actually came up to me and said, "Oh look, we didn't think there'd be this much support. Sometimes we get the weather wrong." The
Bureau of Meteorology is currently exploring a restructure. The plan to take basic forecasting duties away from Tasmanian meteorologists, centralising that in Melbourne and Brisbane.
So if we can find a way of streamlining that routine work, then we free people up to be able to surge into more important events, for example, or to work more closely with some of our key stakeholders like the emergency services.
But farming, aviation, boating and fishing groups are worried that would lead to a loss of local knowledge about our unique weather patterns.
Critical to the safety of our members is accurate weather forecasting, and critical to that accuracy is local knowledge. To remove local knowledge out of the Tasmanian Bureau is a backward step and can be very dangerous.
The union says it could lead to over-reliance on computer modelling for Tasmania's forecasts. In situations like the Dunalley bushfires, the modelling failed.
Computer modelling was showing that there was no need for the Bureau to issue an extreme fire danger warning. Now, our forecasters, they overruled that and they issued it, which gave firefighters, residents and local businesses enough time to respond.
Our meteorologists here are experts in Tasmanian weather, so wherever the forecast process comes from, they will continue to feed back their local knowledge back into that system. So if they were to see something that needs adjusting based on their local knowledge, they would have an input into it.
The Bureau says it's likely to be months before a decision is made and implemented. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
The federal Greens are calling for more money and staff to be thrown at protecting the state's little penguins following a spate of killings this year. 58 penguins were found slaughtered at Low Head earlier this week in a suspected dog attack. The Greens want a task force and protection fund set up to prevent more deaths.
Tasmanians are rightly bloody angry when they hear reports of 58 penguins being killed by a dog. We heard last year 12 were killed in the same area. Every 6 months or so we seem to get reports that dogs have gone into penguin colonies.
Security cameras and Marima guard dogs have also been suggested as possible solutions. The first of Tasmania's newly built metro buses are hitting the streets across the state. However, the latest annual report has cast a cloud over the organisation's finances.
Taking its first passengers, the state's new bus fleet rolls into Launceston.
This is one of 100 buses, brand new buses that are fully disability compliant.
The $31 million project will see a new bus hit the road at a rate of one a fortnight. But it's not such a smooth ride for Metro. The organisation's latest annual report shows losses of more than $1 million after tax. The minister insists they're on the road to recovery.
Financial results are an improvement on previous years, so I want to commend Metro and the team.
Metro also blaming Hobart's traffic woes for reducing service delivery times to 88%, with 60% of complaints about service reliability.
Metro is exposed to traffic like every other road user. We're certainly doing our utmost to deliver our services reliably and on time, but it is a challenge.
Despite little mention of a new Hobart ferry service in the report, the government is sticking by Metro as the preferred operator.
We've provided some $2 million to support Metro to consult with the community on the ferries.
Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
We return to our breaking story on the alleged attempted murder on board a cruise ship in Tasmanian waters. And Royal Caribbean has just released a statement to Southern Cross News. It says a domestic disturbance was reported between two guests on board the Radiance of the Seas. Security responded and Tasmania Police was notified, who then attended the ship on its arrival in Hobart. The cruise company says safety and security of guests and crew is its highest priority, and it has a zero tolerance to any form of violence. In the last hour, a Queensland man appeared in court and pleaded not guilty to attempted murder. The director of Tasmanian motorbike company Brap has been found not guilty of dealing with the proceeds of crime. The verdict was handed down to Bradley Thomas Smith in the New South Wales District Court. Employees of the company had been charged with 6 counts over the fitting of identification plates on motorbikes and 3 of importing vehicles requiring modification. Smith was found guilty of dishonestly obtaining financial advantage by deception. He'll be sentenced on November 9. The Electoral Commission is urging Tasmanians to have their say in council elections, with the deadline for votes nearing. The latest ballot figures reveal which parts of the state are lagging behind in returning their votes.
This is the hub of the Electoral Commission's operation during a frantic few weeks of the postal poll. Here at this warehouse today, they're processing 9,000 votes sent in from every corner of the state.
Those that have been signed will be then marked off the roll and all the personal details removed from those envelopes before they're stored away to be opened after the close of the poll.
More than 360,000 ballots have been posted out for 28 council elections. But with the deadline looming, there's still a lot to come back. Flinders Island has been the best performer so far, returning 64% of ballots. The East Coast areas and Central Highlands also having strong returns. But the more populated cities are lagging behind the average. Hobart, Launceston and West Tamar in the 30s.
We're hoping that people this weekend will take their time, if they've still got it on their kitchen bench, to complete the vote and get it back in the mail so we can make sure we get a good return.
These elections, the Liberal Party has taken the unusual step of issuing a how to vote for the Hobart City Council.
The State Liberal Party has clearly identified candidates that support jobs and growth in our economy.
While those on the other side say local government is about more than that.
We all want jobs and growth. We want affordable housing. We do want the economy to grow and tourism to be sustainable, but we don't want it at the cost of things that make Tassie so special.
Ballots need to be received by the Electoral Commission by 10 a.m. on the 30th of October. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
Launceston City Mission has been given a helping hand, with children's charity Moonbeam donating $2,000 to the Inside Out for Kids program. The initiative helps support children who are dealing with trauma or loss.
We do rely on the community and what the community gives us, because it really helps us to get out there and see more children. And the more children that get help, the more hope there is for them and their future.
The donation coincides with Anti-Poverty Week. The state's best bakers have put their produce to the test at the Tassie Baking Show. And for those in charge of judging, there was certainly no room for loafing around.
Kilos of flour and a whole lot of love. This is the great Tasmanian bake-off.
There's over 20 bakeries exhibiting from all over Tasmania. I suppose the furthest would be Flinders Island. They've flown some stuff in.
Judges tasting, smelling and observing their way around the room to determine who rose to the occasion. And with over 200 samples to judge, they certainly had a jam-packed schedule.
We've got a full range of bakery products, mainly bread. So we've got all the different types of bread, going from your normal white square down to your sourdough. And then we've got some cake sections, the mud cakes and decorated cakes.
We all enter it, get an award and let the public know how good we really are.
Bob the baker has been perfecting his craft since he was 16, and after decades of practice, he's confident his goods are a cut above the rest.
I always have liked cooking, yeah, even as a little kid with my mum in the kitchen.
Bob says it's all about the produce, but he also has one other secret ingredient.
It's TLC the way we cook it, so yeah, we've got that extra.
For those who have entered pies, there are some serious bragging rights on the line. And for anyone interested, judges say the perfect temperature to enjoy these bad boys is 60 degrees. And as for those tasked with the not-so-crummy job of tasting, apparently it's quite an art.
Yeah, your palate gets pretty refined to what's wrong or what's right. I won't need lunch today.
Judy Augustine, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania has taken a step towards reducing its carbon footprint, with the state's first public electric car charger officially switched on in Launceston. The city's mayor says the number of motorists driving electric cars is small, but it's hoped the move will prompt more motorists to make the switch.
Well, it's a sign of the times, and for us as a city, we need to become more sustainable. We want to make the opportunity as the city for the people who want to use electric cars to have that opportunity to be able to travel from Hobart to Launceston and charge up quickly.
We can't meet our greenhouse gas requirements without turning to electric transport. So eventually, I would say they're inevitable. The other thing is that they're going to be the best choice in the future as the cost of the cars comes down.
Drivers will be able to use the charger for free until the next financial year. The council also plans to install the technology at the new CH Smith car park. Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market closed flat, with banking stocks clawing back from a weak start after heavy overnight losses on Wall Street. The ASX 200 index fell 2.9 points. And a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 71.12 US cents and 54.55 British pence.
She's been one of Tasmania's best jockeys for years, having grown up surrounded by some of the best in the business. But now Siggy Carr is establishing a name for herself as one of the few female trainers in the state's history.
It's been one of Siggy Carr's dreams to ride home a winner that she trained herself, and this week in Launceston it happened.
I was scratching my head on the home turn thinking, where am I going to go?
And yeah, the heavens opened with about 100 metres to go, and I directed her into the gap, and she just, she let down like she had wings. So it was an amazing feeling.
The daughter of famous Tasmanian trainer Royston Carr, Ziggy is now following in his footsteps, but certainly isn't confined to his shadow.
Nothing gets given to you in this game. You have to work hard for what you get, and that's definitely one thing he's always said to me. We get up at 3 o'clock, we leave from Oatlands up there about 4, get down to Brighton, and sometimes we don't leave here till 6:30 at night.
Not the purely male-dominated sport it once was, Carr has seen friend and mentor Michelle Payne achieve what was once thought impossible in the sport.
Every time she's come down and ridden in Tassie, before she even won the Melbourne Cup, she was always helpful. She used to sit down with me and go through rides and always give me little things that maybe help me with my own riding.
Now, having earned her dual licence just a month ago, Carr rides for her second win as a trainer rider tomorrow in Hobart on one of her most promising horses, Ronnie Zacapa.
Definitely getting to know each horse individually. They're not all the same. They're like people. They've got their own characters, as we can see now.
And after shaking the monkey off the back early in her training career, Carr says anything from here on out is just a bonus, but is always on the lookout for the next champion to add to the stable.
Farlap got beaten in his first 3 or 4 starts, so you don't know. You've got to work the horses out, and maybe they might figure out things for you better than they do for another trainer. But I definitely wouldn't mind a really fast one day.
Meantime, the Tasmanian Tigers have recorded a dominant win against Queensland in the final day of their Sheffield Shield clash at the Gabba. With the home side needing 340 runs for victory, the Queensland Bulls were never in with a chance as the Tigers' attack ripped through the order. Paceman Jackson Bird leading the way, claiming 5 scalps in a man-of-the-match performance. Gabe Bell also contributing with 4 wickets of his own. The Bulls were all out in the 29th over, with Tasmania taking the match by 246 runs.
Good evening. Well, the Weather Bureau in the news today. It was good to see the community support for keeping Tasmanian weather forecasts and weather forecasters local. And locally, a partly cloudy day around the state, a clearing coastal shower. Temperatures still above average. Hobart along with Ouse and Bushy Park our high with 22. Launceston 18, Burnie and Devonport 17. Flinders Island recorded 21 degrees, as did St Helens and Friendly Beaches. King Island 20, Strawn 19 and Low Head 17 degrees. Cloudy conditions, as mentioned. The north and west coast picked up most of the cloud this afternoon. A cold front brought cloud to South Australia and Victoria, with associated cloud extending up to northern WA and the Territory. A surface trough has the cloud over the eastern seaboard. Tomorrow, a cold front crosses the state before a high pressure ridge moves in later in the day. Surface troughs dominate the weather further north. Getting windy, northerly tomorrow at 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots over the east. They'll tend west-northwesterly and picking up to 35 knots over the south and northeast. Swells building to 4 metres. Gale warning from southeast Cape to Low Rocky Point is on. A strong wind warning from Cape Portland to St Helens Point. A small craft wind alert for the southwest lakes. Hobart tomorrow, an early shower clearing, 17 the top, 15 for Maydena and Oatlands with a shower in the air. For Launceston tomorrow morning, showers and 19, 16 for Devonport, a cool day for Lyowini with a shower early and 11 degrees. Burnie morning showers and 15, 14 the top for Strawn and Marrawar with showers in the west, and also the chance of a shower or 2 for St Helens, 20 the top, 19 for Swansea. Orford 18 degrees, the UV sitting at 6, which is high. On Sunday, fine apart from possible showers over the west during the morning. Mostly fine on Monday, a possible shower over the northeast, and on Tuesday, showers in the west extending statewide before contracting to the west and south. Snow to 800 metres. A possible shower in Perth tomorrow, partly cloudy in Adelaide and Brisbane. Morning showers clearing for Caulfield Cup Day in Melbourne. Possible storms though for Canberra, Sydney and Darwin. Plenty of cloud around the state at the moment. Hobart 19 degrees, Launceston 16, Devonport 14. Joe, if I thought the cash cow auditions were on, I would have brought my outfit in as well. That's a job I've always wanted.
Yes, rude. It's Friday night. You could have said something nice. Anyway, thank you, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Thanks so much for your company. Have a lovely evening. Good night.